Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really, Warzone 2 so far has been one major roller coaster, if you will, right? It obviously launched with a lot of hype. It was going to be the upgraded and improved version of Warzone 1, but it became very apparent very quickly that it was not so much an improvement and an upgrade from Warzone 1, but rather a different kind of Call of Duty Battle Royale than Warzone 1, with a lot of the popular gameplay aspects and elements of Warzone 1 being reverted or changed in some way, shape, or form. It's been a controversial game so far, obviously, and while we have seen several significant updates go live over the course of Warzone 2 being out, the player sentiment and the overall popularity of the game so far is just not obviously where I think a lot of the players want it to be, and definitely where the studios and the devs want it to be. Safe to say, Warzone 2 needs changes. Today, I want to focus on some of the major things that I think could drastically improve the state of the game, considering that we've already had several updates go out that were focusing on some of these aspects, but they've yet to, I guess, hit the mark, if you will. So first up, audio. Boy, audio in this game is rough, which is especially disappointing to say in this video right now, multiple months and multiple updates after launch, because we've had several updates, including some recently, specifically attack the audio issues, where the patch notes say audio clarity has been improved. You know, the audio occlusion is not going to be as messy and as jumbled as before. Footsteps should stand out. Player audio should stand out, but countless times here in Warzone 2, players are running up right next to somebody and they seem completely silent. Other times it's very audible, it's very noticeable, but the inconsistency of that audio is one of the major flaws. And quite frankly, the amount of times that someone can be right next to you, either running up to you, or in the case of, things like Resurgence, landing right on top of you, and there's no real audio cues for that whatsoever, it's frequent, and that is a problem. The audio in this game is not dependable whatsoever. Now, you can use things like loudness equalization on PC. You could have a super fancy headset and a great audio setup. It won't change the fact, though, that the Warzone 2 audio is rough. If you recall back to the MW2 beta, the audio there, for multiplayer was not ideal because you could hear everything. Footsteps were super apparent, super obvious. You could tell exactly where someone was coming from. That's like the kind of audio that we need in Warzone here and not in multiplayer. And so far, we just haven't hit that point where we can all say the audio is dependable, the audio is consistent. It's a major issue right now in Warzone 2 that drastically needs changed and definitely needs improved. Another huge improvement that we have seen over time but is yet to be perfect is stability. I have a top of the end PC. If you guys have caught the setup video, currently I'm running a 7950X. I'm running a 4090, and this game still for me has so many crashing issues, so many performance issues where there's stutters, there's hitches, my frames all drop for no reason. Like, the game's optimization and the game's stability consistency are also just so wildly disappointing still. Now, it's better than launch. We can all, I think, agree to say that. Launch was even worse. It was crashing every single match, basically, from someone in your party. If you were playing with a 4-man, there was no chance all 4 of you were going to play multiple matches in a row consistently without someone crashing out. There were issues where even just on the menu, constant crashing was happening. And it's definitely not as bad now. Like, the crashing and the stability certainly is better now, but there's still a lot of issues when it comes to server stability within a given match, where hit reg feels terrible, or where you're lagging like crazy. Everyone's playing on a Microsoft PowerPoint, basically, right? Where it's just like a super framey game. It doesn't matter if you're on PC or console, everyone's in slow motion, and then half the players in the match time out and you're playing a dead lobby, or you crash out of the game because of that. It's just not a great experience there. The stability is also very lackluster still. Better than before, but far from where I feel like it needs to be for a game of this magnitude from a publisher of this size and this experience, right? Another big thing, especially as of late, the cheating issue. Honestly, at first, the cheating was not bad in MW2 and Warzone 2. When the games first launched, I was running into cheaters maybe one time a week max. I remember for the first month or so of Warzone, I don't think I ever saw a obvious blatant cheater. And yeah, sure, there could have been people who were cheating very well in terms of they were hiding their wall hacks well, or they were hiding their aimbot well, but blatant cheaters, nothing like back in Caldera or Verdansk or anything like that. It was really good for a while. And then something happened. Ricochet didn't get updated. Apparently some of the cheat providers released their cheats for free, and it's just been spiraling out of control. There are cheaters everywhere in multiplayer, unranked, in Warzone free to play. They're all over the place. The anti-cheat needs some more improvements and some more upgrades here very soon. By the way, as we're going through everything here today, if you guys like these ideas, if you guys want to see these things change, let me know by dropping a like on the video. It does help share it around. It does help promote it. So the more eyes on this, the better the chance of, someone from Raven or Call of Duty or Activision seeing this, and we can actually have a positive impact on the game. Of course, the end goal here, if you will, is to always have that positive impact. Hence why I want to do this in the most constructive way possible. And if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. I'm always keeping you guys up to date with everything you need to know about MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. Another big change here that I think a lot of players, especially Warzone 1 players that stuck around throughout Verdansk, both eras really, and then also Caldera, is TTK changes. Now, yes, some players are going to enjoy the faster TTK that Warzone 2 has now, and that's fine. If you like it, I'm happy for you. You've got your game to enjoy. At the same time, though, all throughout Warzone 1, they were testing like crazy what the best TTK is. And ultimately, they came to the conclusion at the end of the Vanguard era, or towards the end of the Vanguard era, that slightly slower TTK was what players wanted. They ran community polls, and they ran, all these different playlist tests where we had iron trials and titanium trials and increased health LTMs like that. And through all their internal data and all their public, surveys that they did, they came to the conclusion that slower TTK was better, way slower than where we're at now, where close range, you can get fried in a third of a second. Some of the weapons, they have great TTKs. A lot of the rifles feel very well balanced. The LMGs are probably a bit too strong over long range. Some of the SMGs and pistol options are probably a bit too unbalanced up close, but that slower TTK seemed to be the sweet spot based on all the possible data we could see as a community from their communication in, dev calls or whatever the case may be, or their public polls. So TTK changes, I feel like, would be a nice step in the right direction in terms of player sentiment. Also, speaking of things that they tested thoroughly throughout Warzone 1, a lot of the quality of life updates, the QOL updates, things like the ability to manually equip your gas mask, it not interrupting your parachuting, or certain activation issues with that caused hindrances in gameplay, portable buy stations, redeploy tokens, lootable perks, plenty of things like that were thoroughly, like I said, tested in Warzone 1 to see if they stuck well with the players and the player base enjoyed. We don't have any of those hardly in Warzone 2. So we spent all that time testing, hey, do the players enjoy this? Oh, the players love it. Let's keep it permanent. And it's gone in the next game that everyone wanted to be an upgrade of our current game, right? So a bit disappointing that a lot of the quality of life updates are currently missing. I do have faith that they're going to add them in over time, because we've already started to see several of them added in already with like the redeploy drones and loadout changes and whatnot. But it is kind of a bummer that so many updates now have to be focused on re-adding in things that already worked before because they were reverted or they were removed. Then the final thing I want to focus on here is the movement. This is another controversial one. A lot of players are happy that we don't have the crazy movement of MW 2019 in Warzone 1, and I can agree with that to an extent. I don't think we need slide canceling in Call of Duty, but my issue with the movement in this game personally is that everything is intended to slow you down. There's no aggressive gameplay maneuvers that are I guess free-flowing and smooth, I think is the best way to put it, which is a bit ironic because way back when I was able to get an early look at Modern Warfare 2 with a handful of other creators, the devs specifically said that they want to create this game in a way that works well for all playstyles. You can rush around and find success. You can camp and find success. You can play the objective and find success. And the the latter there, those two work. The former, though, rushing around in this game oftentimes is a hindrance, just straight up. It takes a long time to ADS out of sprint. It takes a long time to jump or crouch and maneuver around the map. If you are dolphin diving, it takes a while to get your sights back up. If you're sliding, it makes you completely vulnerable in a gunfight because there's no aggression to it whatsoever. Everything it seems like in this game is a defensive maneuver, and the aggressive maneuvers and the mobile things in this game are very few and far between. Now, you can do certain things well with this movement, but overall, it just doesn't seem very fluid. Like I said, I don't want slide canceling back. My thumbsticks don't want slide canceling back. My shift button doesn't want slide canceling back. But I feel like having the ability to shoot while you're sliding, or the ability to stop your slide when you want it and have it not reset your tac sprint so it's not a broken mechanic would be a nice, solution to the issue with movement now. A lot of these things, they were welcomed in Warzone 1, and that's why Warzone 1 held such a strong community throughout it, even through Vanguard, which was not well received, right? And then this year, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Warzone 2 is not performing where the creators thought it would perform. Its views are down all around. The player sentiment is not all that great. I feel like by changing some things back to how they were in Warzone 1 because they worked well, while also continuing to make improvements in other areas, really could help this game thrive and get it back on track. That being said, those are the changes that I feel like Warzone 2 currently needs to focus on. If you guys have other ideas, if you guys have alternative solutions to some of the things that I brought up here, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I implore you guys to go ahead and leave some feedback there, because you never know who from Call of Duty, who from the dev team is watching these videos and checking out those comments. But that's gonna wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you guys are new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications so you can always stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.